so put away your books. And you'll notice on your desk, you should have your writer's notebook. And so we're going to be talking today a little bit about writing. Who remembers a while back when we talked about, we were talking about grammar actually, and we were talking about that you are polite in your grammar. We were specifically talking about the way we use certain words. Cooper, do you remember?
Like in our conversation, words that were like mean.
Oh, you're talking about connotation of words?
Or like snotty, skinny.
Okay, well that's one way to talk about, you want to think about the connotation of your words when you're writing. But I was actually talking about something when you put yourself in a group of people. Do you remember, Evan?
You say yourself last.
You say yourself last, like, you know, Susan, Laura, and I went to the store is the correct way to do it. And we talked about how, just like you want to have good manners, and like you should, in grammar that applies too. You put yourself last, put the others before you. Another way that applies, using good manners, is in your writing. And when you're writing a piece, you are like the host or the hostess for your reader. You are going to introduce them into your book or your story or your whatever you're writing, and you write in a way that you try to engage your reader. If I were to come to your house to visit, you wouldn't ignore me or not tell me where things are, right? If you have a guest over, you're polite, you invite them in, you show them where the bathroom is, you offer them a drink of water. You're a good host or hostess, correct? So in the same way, with your writing, you want to do that. And today we're specifically going to be talking about writing your introduction. So you're introducing people to your piece that you're writing, and pretty soon we're going to be writing, you just finished your opinion pieces, pretty soon we're going to be writing a narrative piece. And so I want us to work a little bit on our hooks, our introductions, before we get to that. So the other way to think about a hook is like a fish hook, right? And that's why I have those hanging there. How many of you have ever been fishing before? Lots of people. Clay, when you go fishing and you drop your line into the water, do you just drop the hook in, all that stuff? Or do you put something on the hook?
A worm.
You put a worm on the hook? Okay, why do you put a worm on the hook, Tierney?
Because it will catch the fish.
Okay. It'll want to eat it. It's what you call the bait, right? You always put bait on your hook. So what if would I put like an old shoe on the hook?
Yeah.
Okay. Why not? Why, Megan, wouldn't I put a shoe on the hook? Why doesn't that work? Unless I'm fishing for a really big fish. Right?
Oh, sure. Fish don't
No, you want to put something on your bait needs to be something that your fish would be interested in. So in the same way, put your hands down for a second. In the same way, when you're writing a hook for your piece, you need to make it something interesting and alluring to your reader. So you need to know who your reader is, and you need to put something in for a hook that's a good bait. All right, so let's talk about when we were doing our opinion pieces. Remember when we did a little exercise on our hooks? At the beginning, we were trying to think of a good hook. And does anyone remember some of the ideas we came up with? We had a worksheet, looked like this, that you filled in, some of you filled in. So what were some things that we talked about from this little worksheet that had to do with writing good hooks, Megan?
Dialogue.
Dialogue, which means what?
It means like a conversation.
Yeah, and a lot of you chose to do that. You started your piece with a conversation between two people, and it was introducing your topic. Jameson? Question. And most of you used questions to start your piece. So that is another way that we can do it. Jonathan?
I used an interesting fact.
An interesting fact. Yeah, so that was another thing that you could catch their attention immediately with some piece of information that they might not have known. Clay?
Humor.
Humor is a good one. So you can do something kind of funny. That only works, of course, if your piece is going to be funny. Like if you've got a serious piece that you're writing, you would really start with humor. But yes, Cooper?
Something like that most people would know.
Okay. Okay, so something that you think that your reader would just naturally be interested in. Okay, Tierney? A quote. Yeah, a famous quote or saying, like all the proverbs that we've been doing, if they tie in to what your piece is going to be about, a famous proverb would be a good thing. Yes?
Like a famous, like a joke or a word.
Oh, right, yeah. So Kira did hers on Supergirl, and so she started, and that's really like a famous quote. It's a bird, it's a plane, and then she ended, it wasn't Superman, in her case it was Supergirl. So that was a neat way to start hers. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about a few, I have 5 different types of hooks. And so I want you to use your writer's notebook. There's a section in the back that you should have a tab, hopefully mine shows up here, that says writing notes. I want you to turn to that. And at the top, this is going to be some notes on good hooks. Good hooks. So you're going to be taking notes about good hooks. So write that in your notebook. And then just write good hooks right there. I'm going to tell you which ones you're going to put in there. We're going to do some sort of different ones. Okay. All right, so you've got good hooks written at the top of your notes section. Justin, what would be a good way to learn about some good hooks in writing? Where would you go if you didn't know how to write a good hook and you wanted to figure it out? What would you do? What might you do? Any ideas? Karen, what would you do?
If you didn't know how to write a good hook, look in a book.
Excellent. You could go to a good book that you've read and see what the hook is that author used. So think of some of your favorite authors, right? Or you could look at one of your friends. If your friend is a good writer, you could look at their ideas. But today we're going to start by looking at some great books that have some really good leads or hooks at the beginning. Now the first one, I've been talking to you guys a little bit about the Graveyard book that I've been reading. So I'm going to play the opening of the Graveyard book. And the author himself is reading this, so that's really good because you can hear it the way he intended it to be read. And he is from England, so he's got that accent. And so he would, those book lights that you guys can win, he would call it a book torch, right? Because we talked about in England, they use the word torch for flashlight instead of flashlight. So I think I've got this in the right place. So just listen. I'm going to let you listen to the first couple of lines. I'm just going to tell you, it does start with a little, like a nursery rhyme first before his opening line. So just
rattle his bones over the stones.
That's the
It's only a pauper who nobody owns. Traditional nursery rhyme. Chapter 1. How nobody came to the graveyard. There was a hand in the darkness, and it held a knife. The knife had a handle of polished black bone, and a blade finer and sharper than any razor. If it sliced you, you might not even know you had been cut, not immediately.
So, what did you hear? What was the opening line on that? Did you hear it, Daniel?
Those that kind of tells you why nobody goes there.
Well, what was the first? Did anyone hear the first line? Here,
Of chapter 1 or of that.
he said there was a hand in the darkness, and it held a knife. That's how he started his piece, his writing. So what does that, is that a good hook, do you think?
Yeah. Yes.
Why does it intrigue you, Megan?
It sounds like someplace have a big voice.
Yeah, he gives you a lot of information really with that very first sentence. You can tell what type of book it's going to be. It's a little scary, and it makes you interested in what's going on, right, Tierney?
What's gonna happen is the rat will be blooded.
Right.
It's just
Right, or if he's just going to cut up a chicken. Now, you don't know what the knife's being used for just yet, but he definitely has gotten your attention. Kira?
it's like a mystery.
Yeah, sounds mysterious, and especially when you hear him read it, you can tell it's a little mysterious. Okay, so what I'm calling this hook is the electric eel, because it's a shocking statement. I'm gonna have, let's see, L.E.V. You have a book there, and it kind of starts the same way with what I call an electric eel hook. So listen to Elliot. I'm gonna give you the microphone so we can hear you. And Tierney, this is gonna be your job to pass the mic around. Keep going. Turn that off.
Every 13-year-old girl is accused or murdered, brought to trial, and found guilty, but I was just such a girl. My story is worth relating, even if it did happen years ago.
Okay, so what do you think about that opening, Evan?
I didn't expect it.
You didn't expect it, right? It was a little bit shocking, and a little different. So it makes you want to read and find out more. So the electric eel is a shocking statement. All right, the next one is, I call it the rainbow fish. So we give the mic to Millie, Tierney, and she's going to read the next opening.
Mary woke to the sleepy beating of a goat. The world was as dark as eyes closed, but perhaps the goats could smell dawn seeping through the cracks of the house's stone walls.
Good. Okay, so what did you hear in that opening? It's a little different. It's not a shocking statement. Evan?
Wonder.
You heard wonder, okay? Think about some things that we've been learning about Clay.
It's a little happier.
It is happier, definitely than our other ones. Sounds a little more cheery. Yes, there was a simile, there was some figurative language. There was another type of figurative language in there. Here. There was a simile at the beginning, and then she said, but perhaps the goats could smell dawn seeping through the cracks of the house's stone walls. So what do you think? What do you hear? It's kind of, well, I was thinking of it more as personification, but I guess it's not exactly. But it takes that, the dawn, the concept of the morning, and it says it's seeping through the cracks of the house's stone walls. So it gives you, it's very colorful and descriptive language. So that's the rainbow fish, where they use figurative language and descriptive language. There's that one. Okay. The next one is Sophia. Can you read yours?
Where's Papa going with that axe? Said Fern to her mother as they were setting the table for breakfast. Out to the hog house, replied Miss Emerald. Some pigs were born last night. I don't see why he needs an axe, continued Fern, who was only 8. Well, said her mother, one of the pigs is a runt. It's very small and weak, and it will never amount to anything. So your father has decided to do away with it.
Okay, so what do you think about that opening? Cooper.
It's like sad.
It is that, it could kind of be electric eel a little bit, because it's a little shocking. But,
something like that.
yes. Jonathan?
It's from Charlotte's Web.
It is from Charlotte's Web. That one's familiar to you. Ellie?
When you hear, like, where's Dad going, and then you hear with that axe, that's kind of unexpected.
It is. That's where, so some of your openings could contain different elements. But, Gavin, what did you hear in this one?
I heard lots of adjectives like runt, scrawny.
Okay. So you heard, so she did use a little description.
I
Dana?
thought it was a little like, more like, it was like really like, I don't know how to say it, but I would just.
It definitely stirs some feelings, doesn't it? And the thing I was kind of getting at, Megan, do you know?
Like, at first of all, it starts as a dialogue,
Dialogue.
and then, also, it's like you can tell that she's gonna do something about this,
Yeah.
and like she's gonna save it.
It's a great hook or great intro to a story because you can already see the problem and what could potentially be going on. It kind of gives you an opportunity to make predictions early on. But it does begin with dialogue, and you can't see mine because it's turned the other way. But it's, I have big mouth bass for dialogue. There, big mouth bass. So dialogue or conversation, that's another way you can begin a piece. And we talked about that with your opinions.
It's
So,
turned around.
okay. Well, we'll keep,
The middle
maybe
one, you can see it.
big mouth bass is shy, he keeps turning his back. And you can be writing these down in your notes. So we got, you don't have to write the fish name if you don't want to, but the shocking statement, which is the electric eel, lots of description and figurative language is another one, and then the last one is dialogue or conversation. So write those down for a second, and then Justin. Where's Justin? Justin, you're going to be reading the next one after you get that written in. It's dialogue. Oh, big mouth bass.
How do you spell eel?
E-E-L. Yes.
The reason that the blue and the red will keep turning around is because you keep them on backwards.
Well, yeah, I'll fix them on the back. Okay, I'll fix them in a second when I step back up. All right, let's do this one. Justin, go ahead and read your excerpt from C.S. Lewis's Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
There was a boy called Eustace Clarence Scrub, and he almost deserved it.
Okay, what do you think about that one? There was a boy named Eustace Clarence Scrub, and he almost deserved it. What do you think?
It's kind of like funny.
So I put a clownfish for humor. Let's see if I can get it up there. The hook's new. Okay, let's do this one. While I'm putting this up, Clay, you're gonna read another clownfish. Read that. Read yours.
The Herdmans were absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world. They lied and stole and smoked cigars, even the girls, and talked dirty and hit little kids and cussed their teachers, and took the name of the Lord in vain and set fire to the Fred Shoemaker's old broken down tool house.
Wow. So, what do you think about that one? Ellie? It's funny. Clownfish. She's trying to catch your attention through humor. You already know the style of the story from the beginning. Okay, the last one we're going to do, Evan. Evan's going to read for you from Bridge to Terabithia.
Broom, 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 bippity, 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 bippity. Good. His dad had the pickup going.
Okay, what do you hear? Jameson? Onomatopoeia, or sound. So that one gets you automatically kind of into the story because it's giving you, you're thinking of what you're hearing. Cooper?
It gets me excited because I like when they use like magic.
Okay, yeah, like magic words. And yeah, in that case, I think it's the sound of that truck getting ready to start. And then I have another one, the book was checked out and I couldn't get it, but it's from Warrior by Aaron Hunter. It says, thunder crashed louder than anything Holly Lee had heard before. And again, it's onomatopoeia, yeah. Those are examples. Does anybody know what kind of fish this one's gonna be? Yes?
Joe.
No, it's gotta be something that makes a sound.
Whale?
No. Oh, that good sound of a whale.
Snappers.
Snapper. Because like snapping is an onomatopoeia word. Okay, so those are your different types of hooks. So you guys can write those into your notebook. Maybe write them into your notebook for a second, and I'll try to put this up here. The problem is I only have one. There we go. Okay, turn off that mic. Okay. Alright, so while you're doing that, we're going to write some of these openings together. Jameson, will you hand this out? And this has all of the types on here on this worksheet that you're going to get. So if you forgot them or can't see them, you'll get a worksheet that'll. Yes. Okay. Okay, so I want you to turn in your writer's notebook to My Writing and find a clean page. So turn to your tab that says My Writing and find a clean page. Turn to My Writing, yep, and find your next clean page. Someone at the green table, Lindsay, which of those would you like us to try to write together? Rainbow? Okay, so Lindsay has picked rainbow fish. We're going to try to do a descriptive one using our figurative language. And then, let's see, Carson, you're going to pick a word that we have to include in our writing. Here's the words. So reach in, don't look. And tell us what our word's going to be. Flower. Okay. So we have to use the word flower. Oh, let me have that so we can do it. Okay, so we're going to have to use the word flower, and we're going to do a descriptive writing. So what I want you to do, spend a little time thinking and write in your writer's notebook something that uses figurative language or descriptive language, like rainbow fish, and uses the word flower. Just one sentence. We're not going to write a whole paragraph, but we're going to try to put one sentence. So write something in your writer's notebook, any ideas, and then we'll talk about them together. Did someone not get one? It's up here if you don't, and it's on your page, but rainbow fish is the descriptive kind. No, don't write, just write in your writer's notebook, that's okay. Write in your writer's notebook and try to come up with a paragraph or a sentence that's descriptive, would be a great hook to a writing, and uses the word flower. I want everyone to think a little bit. Remember, you're doing the rainbow fish, and you're working on figurative language and descriptive words. All right, so let's talk about this one. So what are some, of course we can use our figurative language, and since we're talking about a flower, the senses that we can think of are sight. What else can you think of? Smell. Those would be very obvious ways to start. Okay, Cooper? Okay. Nice. So the colorful, beautiful flower bloomed. I didn't hear the last part.
In the bright and shiny horizon.
In the bright and shining horizon. So he used lots of description. All right, let's take that one, and then let's add some figurative language to it. So we could do either, why don't we try a simile? Okay, Jessica?
One says your family's house smells as good as a flower.
Okay. So do you use flower as the second part of the simile, not as the subject of the sentence? How can we use a simile to describe how the flower smells or how it looks, Daniel?
The beautiful flower looked like the beautiful flower looked like a shiny, or I was thinking about doing that stuff.
Okay. Millie, what did you have? So the beautiful flower looked like a shiny light bulb. Ooh, there we go. All right, so let's put that one down. So I'm going to shorten it just so I can fit it on here. So I saw I'm going to say lovely flower that, what did you say? Sparkled like a diamond. And the Cooper, give me the ending of yours again.
It was the bright, shiny horizon.
Diamond on the bright, shiny horizon. Do you think that's a good hook?
Yes.
Does it pull your senses in to the story already from the start?
Yes.
Yeah. Shiny horizon. Okay, so you can write this one in or your own. Just leave it in your notebook. But if this is one example. All right, let's go to the white table. Let's see. Clay, pick the type. You can't pick rainbow fish again, so pick a different type, Clay, that you want us to write next together.
Clownfish.
Clownfish. I'm not surprised if you pick clownfish. So funny or humor, didn't I pick a word? Tell us what it is.
Airplane.
Airplane.
Oh,
Okay, airplane. So now you're going to work independently for a few minutes on a funny or humorous beginning. You can look at your examples, and one that includes the word airplane. This is going to be tricky. Now, just because we're doing the humorous one, you know you can still use figurative language or description in it, but we also want it to have humor. So sometimes, you know, what is hyperbole like we use in our tall tales? Those are great things to use for humor. Okay, put your hand down. I want everyone to think for a minute. I know, it stretches your creative mind when you have to get forced to use a certain word. Where's the word airplane? Toss the bottom here. for a second while people are still thinking. I'll call on you in a minute. All right, LEJ, what did you have? Oh,
It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh wait, it is a plane.
Okay. Okay, so you took sort of what we talked about with Kira's piece, where she took that famous quote of "It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman," and then you made it funny because people expect you to say Superman, and then you said, "Oh wait, it is an airplane." Good. Okay, Jonathan.
I didn't get to finish writing it, but I know what else.
Okay.
It will be a smooth ride for the rest of the way. Our pilot said before we were hurtling towards the earth at 1,000 miles per hour.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so that's funny because you're using, well, you use a little hyperbole, I hope, and humor because it's not what you expect. Okay, Millie, put your hands down while she reads. Okay. Okay, I was on an airplane, I looked out the window and I saw a mouse on a cloud eating, a mouse eating cheese on a cloud, or a mouse, yeah, eating cheese on a cloud. So that definitely catches your attention. Okay, Kira?
I was on a plane that had wacky wings and a jungle gym with monkeys.
Oh, so she created an airplane that has unusual features inside that make you curious. Tierney?
Ooh, Bob just got blew up in a massive bonfire caused by an airplane.
Okay, that sounds more like a shocking beginning, but it could be humorous too. Okay, Daniel, last one.
There was a rainbow airplane with a face in its heart.
Cool. All right, so all of these sound like great beginnings. So hold on to all of these in your notebook, because when you go to write your narrative pieces, you can look back and get some ideas. Okay, now, blue table. Let's see, McKinley, pick our topic. It can't be the clownfish, and it cannot be the rainbow fish. Okay, go pick this. Snapper. So we're going to use onomatopoeia. Jonathan, pick a word. Watch. Oh, this should be some logical ones with this one. Okay, watch, like a watch on your. So, it could be the verb watch. Yeah, it could be. Or it can be the noun watch. And you're going to use onomatopoeia. Remember sound words: boom, crack, crash, tick. Those would be some examples. So work for a couple minutes. All right, Evan.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, don't.
Okay, so you got humor and onomatopoeia, and you can hear, you didn't use the word watch, but obviously that's what it was, right? Yeah.
Tick, 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 tock, boom.
Okay, so the watch blew up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, who actually used the word watch and not just onomatopoeia? Tierney.
I got a box that kept on going tick tock over and over, and then it blew up at me.
Okay, lots of blowing up in your writing. Sophia.
I watched my little brother fall off the spiral.
Okay, so Sophia took it a different angle. She said, I watched my brother falling off his bike going, boom, crash, Mom. So that was great. So she took it a different angle. Got it.
Tick, 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 tick. With my watch, and I never slept.
And you never slept. So you got humor and onomatopoeia. Play.
I never finished mine.
Oh,
It goes tick, 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 tock, boom, ow.
ow. Okay. Cooper.
I said the watch beeped, and it sounded like a lion roaring in the silent as a mouse.
Say it again, a little slower.
My watch beeped, and it sounded like a lion roaring and silent as a mouse.
Oh, cool. Nice. All right, you used a simile in yours too. All right, we're gonna put your hands down. I know you've all got great ideas, and here's what we're gonna do next. Okay, everyone's been asking me, what are the hooks and fish on our desks for? Hooks and fish. Okay. You're gonna work in groups, and you're gonna take this worksheet, and we're gonna go through each one, and you're gonna work with a partner to create your own opening or hook in each category. I'm gonna give you a word you have to use. And so these hooks and fish are gonna be used to group you. Instead of using our clock partners, we're gonna use these. So, right now, I want everyone, actually carry this with you so pull it out from your little spot, your hook or your fish. And then I want all of the hooks to move to the center of the carpet and create a circle facing out. Facing out. Circle facing out.
We need to make a better circle, people.
Okay.
Okay, screw out.
Circle facing out all my hooks. Daniel, you need to be out on the outside edge. Okay. We need to do this without time. Okay. Now, Justin, find a spot. Okay. And actually, you know what? Go back and you need your writer's notebook and your piece of paper. Your fish paper.
Were we not supposed to write on this paper?
You need your writing hook paper and your notebook, and you obviously will need a pencil because you're going to be writing. Okay. Now create your circle, facing out. All right, now, if you are a fish, line up across from someone with a hook. Fish, line up across from someone with a hook. Does everyone have a partner? If you hear my voice, clap once. Okay, especially. Who is still talking? All right, play. All right, raise your hand if you have not found a partner. Raise your hand up in the air if you do not have a partner. Lindsay, do you have a partner? Are you a fish or a hook? Okay. So, does every hook have a fish
Yes.
so far?
Yes.
All right. Ryan, who are you with? Okay. So, Jeremiah, I want you to go, why don't you go with Clay and Evan. Lindsay, you're going to go with Megan and Denia. And the three, you guys are going to, now go find a spot, and you're going to work on rainbow fish, and you have to use the word, you have to use the word stories. Stories. You can have a seat, go find a spot to work. It's not writing. You just write it here or on the side. Can it be Should I So write it. Go get your piece of paper. Write on it. You only have 5 minutes to work, so work quickly. Word stories. Or you can write it beside it or around it. So you're
story was better than Sticks. The story was better than a. Dude, what's that? What's that saying? I don't get it. You're not using any normally I know you're not using any description.
Like, I dropped a fish on the floor and it went off.
The story was thicker than 240 pound or 330 pound man. The stories are real.
Rainbow uses a descriptive word and uses the word stories. So we're gonna do something real short. We only have a few minutes.
There was girls.
About a tripod. Yeah, like right here.
Yeah,
Did you get one? Yeah.
He said
Write it, you can write it on here like you wrote inside. Even though we already had
oh yeah.
oh, we're going away. I didn't get okay. We don't have to do anything now. We just have to wait.
Okay, macaroni and cheese.
Everybody freeze.
Macaroni and cheese.
Everybody freeze.
Daniel, take it. Alright, so now you are going to, even if you didn't get something written, that's okay. You're going to have a chance to move to the next one. We're going to do the electric eel, so a shocking statement, sort of like the graveyard book, and you're going to regroup. So, I want, let's see, I need all my green hooks to line up with green fish, and I want my purple hooks to line up with purple fish. To find a partner, not to find a seat. And your word is truck. Well, what's your script here? I'm a green hooks. Does everyone have a partner? What color are you? Okay, well, you two go together. What color is your script? They're green. Let me have your attention, please. Kevin? Guys, go. Okay, I'm waiting. The word, if you didn't hear, is truck. And you're going to do a shocking statement. And go ahead and write it on your worksheet. If you can, fit it in or on the side if you don't have room. But one statement, shocking statement, using the word truck. Okay, go. Oh. Just write on your worksheet. That's okay, you can write right on it or beside it. Just fit in what you're doing on your worksheet, because I want to, there's a reason I'm going to. I want you to write too. Okay. Alright, macaroni and cheese. Okay. Here's what we're getting ready to do. You're going to switch. But first, before we switch, make sure you're writing these on your worksheet. There should be one statement, or two possibly, in rainbow fish, because we did one together. And then you need to have one in electric eel. So Jeremiah, where's the right one here? And your name needs to be on that worksheet because we're going to be taking it up at the end. So put your name at the top. Yeah, I want you writing them in the worksheet. So if you haven't done that, transfer them into the worksheet. You need to have your statements written on your worksheet in those blanks or beside it if you already had something written there. Alright, now let's see. Next, you're going to use the word candy for big mouth bass. Now remember, this is dialogue, so you can start with 2 or 3 sentences to show conversation. And notice, remember when we read this one, how that conversation gave you a pretty good idea of where the story was going. So try to do that with your conversation, and you're going to do, let's see, so at this time, green fish go with purple fish, and green hooks go with purple hooks. So find your partner and get started.
What are you?
But if you've already put it together, you need to be green fish is fine. Jeremiah, take your stuff. That's right.
Right here.
Alright, Lindsay's joining us. Evan, do you have a partner?
Let's just do that.
What are you? Okay, so you two can be together. Yeah. Yes. What's the question? No, a song would be you want dialogue like a conversation between 2 or 3 people. You want to make it interesting. Any conversation. Try to use this as your example. Look, So here's what we're going to do. And then we're going to tell us there's a big thing, it's number one, it's one. So it kind of lets you know what the story's about, right? So use that as a model and make a conversation where there's something out there to tell what were you? Oh, like this? And with these pictures, right? You guys have yours? You have a conversation between two people? Alright, let's see. I think not that, so it's a conversation, dialogue between two people. Not, no, you're doing candy, not fast. I'm getting ready to switch you in a minute.
Yeah, it is.
Now remember, you want to be given the reader a little idea of where the story's going. Don't forget to write it in your on your worksheet. Ellie, Jonathan, you hear me? You're writing it on your worksheet.
Why couldn't you just move? Oh, I get right around there. Because now we can't see the clock.
What you get? Guys, let's see this.
Oh yeah, like this supporting us.
But remember, you want it to give people an idea where the story's going, right? Sort of like
I never ate cheese.
alright, macaroni and cheese.
Everybody freeze.
Okay, so the next one, you're going to do this clownfish. The word I pulled out was tomato. Now, let me stop you for just a second. Now, with the dialogue, I saw a lot of people, you did in fact put a conversation, but remember, with the dialogue, you want it to give the reader an idea of where the story's going. So you don't, it can be funny, but you need to kind of give the reader an idea of where the story's going, just like with Fern. We found out kind of what the problem was right off the bat through that conversation. So you might want to, let me give you about 2 or 3 minutes to revise your conversation one. Make sure that it's not just a silly conversation, but it's one that lets the reader know maybe what the problem is and maybe who a couple of the characters are. If you've already got a good one, that's great, but I want to give a couple minutes for some people to correct. Okay? Okay. Well, let's think of the talk dialogues between two people at least. So why don't you someone else? Like, she says, I want this. She says, the dentist says, I'll have that routine marked out. Might not be a good idea. So then you kind of have an idea, oh, there's this problem. So you get to the beginning of there's a problem. So something like that. You want to kind of give some ideas. Yeah. So like the character is going back and forth. So we kind of get an idea where it's going. Alright.
And then, like, people will be like, hey, maybe it has like a dream about
Carson and Ryan, you guys find a way to edit your Alright, macaroni and cheese. Okay, next round is clownfish, so humor, tomato or tomato. And you're going to do green hooks with purple fish and purple hooks with green fish. Go with a partner you have not been with before. Someone new.
I need a green purple fish. Purple fish. Green
Here, Ellen.
You need a green hook. Okay, I'll go with you, Ryan.
You haven't been together yet. Jeremiah. What is your and you two don't have to go. What are yours? Jeremiah, Daniel.
It's like your eyes right there.
Yes. Humor. And Sophia, I don't want anyone back there because there's equipment you can knock over, so not behind the table.
I can see you in the camera.
Great, move around and sit down there right in front. Devin, that's a ticket. Okay. Or would you guys have an idea for your
I said we could just throw tomatoes at people's heads.
Okay, but let's think. Let's look at the examples. Maybe that can give you some ideas. That's humorous. I don't know if it makes you want to read it, but it's humorous. Because he was like when I said okay, well, we got but I guess you guys say something? It just says we just need to do something together. Okay, so you guys need to together. I You're going to do the last one. The last one, you're gonna do, let's see, okay, green hooks with green hooks, purple hooks with purple hooks, green fish with green fish, and purple fish with purple fish. Don't move yet. You're doing snapper onomatopoeia, and the word is house. House. So move to your group. You're the same, whatever is the same. Oh, Jonathan and Adam. You're doing Mickey Millie.
So we're doing house.
Oh, big.
House on top of Okay, but we need the actual category, which is like the house.
So this one is a sound word.
So let's put the house fell over on Bill in the giant earthquake. Let's not put in the giant earthquake. We can just put boom, the house fell over on and he survived. No, and he died. Because nobody knows him. Because somebody died. I put
That's where my mind went on that. I think that sounds good. So what did you guys get?
died. We put boom, the house fell on Bill and he died.
No, at first I thought it said the house fell on a tomato. I'm like, wait, that was the one before. The house fell on Bill and he died. Okay, but me, does that, I mean, I guess it could start a story, but it sounds like the story's finished from the start.
No, because it's about how the house fell over and who made it fall over. That's what the book is about.
Oh, okay. Write another one, in addition to this one, where maybe no one dies, but it kind of gives you an idea of something else.
And he survived. And he broke his leg. No, and he survived without a That was it.
I like the word.
No, dollhouse. And he broke his leg. It was a dollhouse. And then he was figure out which time to put that dollhouse on Bill's leg. It was Barbie. I say it was Barbie. I say the murderer was Barbie. Leg. The dollhouse fell over on Bill and he died. Oh, he just broke his leg. He hurt his leg. I believe the abuse.
Okay. If you hear my voice, stop what you're doing and listen for just a second. Okay, you're going to now quietly move back. I still hear the whirring of the pencil sharpener. You're going to move back to your seat. And on your table somewhere, there are highlighters that you need to share. We don't move yet. Let me finish the directions, then you can move. There are going to be highlighters that you can use, and I want you to look through the hooks that you've written. Highlight the one that you think is the best. quietly and then wait for further directions. Okay? Highlight the one you like best. They're on the table. Jeremiah and somebody else, guys, you're not talking on your own independently. I want you to highlight which of your hooks you liked the best. Just find the one you like the best and borrow a highlighter. You'll have to share and highlight it. Okay. Hold on to your papers. I got one more direction. All right. So what we're going to do now okay, so now the last thing I want you to do is you're going to turn your page over on the back. You're going to pick which hook style you think you're best at writing. And you're going to write your own independent hook using, I'm going to roll some story cues. So you're going to have to use the images that show up. And you're going to turn it into reading, to the reading slide. So, flip your paper over, make sure your name's on it. Flip your paper over. Figure out which hook style you like best. Yes?
Do we write at the top what type is?
Yeah, that'd be a great idea because it could be a little of both. So right at the top, electric eel, rainbow fish, big mouth bass, snapper, or clownfish at the top. So that's the style you're going to write. And let's see what we got. So, write your style here. Just pick one for now. Pick one, and you can kind of combine them in your writing, right? Usually. Okay, so you've got a horseshoe, a bridge, and a letter. Looks like a letter. A horseshoe.
That's a magnet.
Hey,
That's a boom box. Could be like a, could be the.
I'm going to re-roll that one. It's a rainbow. Okay,
And then it's
a bridge, a rainbow, and a horseshoe.
That's a magnet.
I mean, sorry, a magnet, not a horseshoe. Magnet. And you're going to write on the back of your paper. Sit down and draw a picture. Finish and turn it in.